A man's mistake when comparing himself to others in crisis situation. So this is very common. When a man is going through a crisis, whether emotional, financial, professional, or personal, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing himself to others. But this comparison only plunges him deeper into frustration and insecurity. The problem isn't looking at others, but rather doing so out of envy. Destructive self criticism or a feeling of inferiority. A man who compares himself aimlessly loses energy, becomes paralyzed, and stops focusing on what really matters, his own evolution. So, the first question here is, why does a man compare himself in time of crisis? Something that I usually do. The answer is because his self esteem is weakened. He feels at a disadvantage and believes others have better opportunities. Because fear dominates him. He thinks he will never reach the level of success others have achieved because society encourages constant competition. Social media and unrealistic standards makes him feel like he's always behind because he forgets his own path. Instead of focusing on his progress, he becomes distracted by what others have done. For example, a man who has lost his job and see his friends thriving may fall into despair. If he compares himself to them instead of focusing on rebuilding his path. Number two, the consequences of comparing yourself to others. The first one is total demotivation. Seeing himself as less than others, he loses the drive to improve. Self loathing and frustration. He judges himself mercilessly and believes he will never be enough. Waste of time. Instead of taking action, he becomes paralyzed by the success of others. Toxic envy. Instead of learning, he becomes filled with resentment and bitterness. Lack of gratitude. He forgets what he has achieved and only sees what he's missing. Example, well, a man who wants to improve his physique but compares himself to elite athletes may end up giving up before he begins. So, the key here is how to stop comparing yourself and use the crisis as a driver of growth. Number one, change your perspective, compare yourself only to yourself. Instead of looking at what others have done, ask yourself, am I better off than yesterday? Because every small step counts. Use comparison as a motivation, not a punishment. If you admire someone, instead of feeling envious, learn from them. Ask yourself, what did that person do to get there? And apply it to your life. Practice gratitude for your own journey. Be grateful for what you do have. The more you focus on the positive, the less comparison will affect you. Take actions instead of wasting time watching others. Focus on your work, your body, your goals. Every second you spend comparing yourself is a second you are not using to improve. Example: a man in a financial crisis can become depressed by seeing the success of others, or he can study, improve his skills, and take actions to get ahead. 4. Conclusion: a wise man only compares himself to who he was yesterday. Comparison only has value if it drives you to improve, not if it paralyzes you. In a crisis, the important thing isn't how far others are, but how far you can go. Stop looking at other people's races and focus on running your own. The only real competition will always be with yourself. Only with yourself. Don't compare to others.